Welcome back. This is Marisol. Today I'll be sharing my February pages for my Project Life album. And throughout the month I use the Studio Calico Documenter kit named Confidant, as well as bits and pieces from January's kit and from my stash. For week 5, I went with my traditional labeling of the week and the dates. I really like this 4x6 watercolor card because I could pick and choose which colors to complement. It was a very colorful card, and so it was easy to work with. I have a filler card here, and here you'll see that this is a drawing that my youngest son drew, and it is of him. And I want to add more ephemera this year. When I first started working with Project Life, I added lots and lots of ephemera, those bits and pieces of our life that's not captured in a photograph. And I want to go back to including those kinds of things in this year's album. And actually what I'm doing is I am creating these pockets using the 8.5 page protector. I slip in the calendar so that I know it's February, and then throughout the month I'll add bits and pieces that I think I might use in my monthly spread. And obviously I didn't use everything from February, and I was okay with that. I'm not going to include every single piece of ephemera every single week. So, but that is something that's one of my goals for this month, for this year, to tell more stories and to add more ephemera. So I have one of those 8.5 page protectors for the entire year. I went ahead and set it all up, I think in January, and it's just going to make it easier for me to switch out the months and add in anything that I might use for the week or that month. This pocket here is probably one of my favorites because it documents a story that if I didn't document would probably be lost. It's just a little story of my son and how every night I come into his room, give him a little kiss on the forehead, and take a moment to just record how peaceful he looks. He's a very busy little guy, and he always has his stuffed animals in his bed, and there's hardly any room for him, but apparently that doesn't bother him. So I used my typewriter again, and I have a love-hate thing with it. I like the way that it looks, and it also gives me more room for journaling on the 3x4 cards. I have pretty big handwriting, and I find that I need to shorten how much I journal because of how big I write. But with the typewriter I can add a lot more words, but I constantly make mistakes and my correction tape does not always work, so I need to find a new one. But anyway, so I added the 3 wood veneer stars there, the date, and the letter M to document that is Mateo. For the right side of the spread, I made a custom page protector for the menu card of the restaurant that my husband and I went to earlier in the month of February. And I just added this sticker which said "needed this," and punched holes and put it in the album. Let me talk about this. So this is a rubber embellishment, and I had one for last month, and it was so hard to adhere it to the card. Let me show you. There it is, right there. And I had to put red line tape on the back of it, and it was a royal pain. And then I saw on Instagram Paper and Spool. She just slipped it into the pocket, and she says that it doesn't move, and she's right, it doesn't move. The rubber seems to have a static quality to it that makes it stick to the plastic of the page protector. And what I did was I added the 3 wood veneer stars and sealed it with my fuse tool so that the stars wouldn't come out. And so this allows me to create a peekaboo pocket where you'll see next week's photo, and then when you turn the page you'll see that 4x6 card there as well. So I think I'm going to do this quite frequently because that red line tape is not easy to work with on these rubber embellishments. For the rest of the pockets on the right side, I added more journaling, like I said, using the typewriter and a couple of stamps. This stamp came in this month's kit, and this is just an alphabet stamp that I use there. And this is a picture of the table setting. The place we went to was amazing. We absolutely loved it, and we're going back for sure. So that is week 5. Now for week 6, what I did was I purposely used this card to complement the title card from last week because of that peekaboo feature. I added the letters WK6, week 6, to document that. I didn't even add the dates, and I was okay with that. This stamp here was the Greenhouse stamp subscription. I made this card myself using a stamp from a really old Kelly Purkey stamp set back when she was with Studio Calico. And I added some handwriting here. This week was hard for us because I lost my grandma and my family. It was hard, but you know, there were lots of tears, and also we celebrated her life. And so to document that, what I did was I just added a photograph of her and added a photograph of the funeral arrangements, and I think that's good enough. I didn't want to document too much because of the emotion behind it, so I was comfortable with documenting it this way. For the right side, I have a little label here that I created using a card that I cut up, which complements this card here. And this card had the number 2 on it to document that it's the 2nd month of the year, but instead of doing that, what I did was I added the words "just the 2 of us" and this little stamp pointing to the picture of my daughter and I. I love this picture because it's so candid. It's not posed in any way, and I love her smile in there. We finally got some snow this week, and my kids were able to make a snowman. My daughter took this picture, and I was really proud of her because she used the rule of thirds. I don't know if she did that purposely or not. Probably not, because she's only 8, but I thought it was great that the final picture looked great. Added the M to document which kid it was, and added this puffy sticker that says "just be cool." So that is week 6. Now on to week 7. Week 7 has a orange-red color scheme to it because of the orange color in the uniforms. Now in actuality, the lettering on the uniform is actually yellow, but because of the lighting in the gym and the way I edited, I guess, the numbers look orange. And I went with it because this month's kit had a lot of orange cards in it, so I went with it. So here for the title card, letter stickers, an old vellum sticker from Amy Tangerine, and a filler card. Now this here, what I'd like to note is that I printed the photograph 2x3 because it allowed me to display the design of the card, and it gave me room for journaling. With this size album, I'm noticing that there's not a lot of room for the stories, so you have to make more room for those stories. And I figured a way to do that is by making the picture smaller and then adding the journaling on the rest of the card. This is just a die cut that came in last month's kit. This was the stamp, and what I did was I stamped it on cardstock, cut it out, and stuck it there to identify my daughter in that group of girls. This is my favorite photo of the week because of all the colors in it, and look how blue that sky is. Now we're in the middle of February, and we are outside in shorts, tank tops, and having lots of fun. We live up north, and this is not typical weather for us, so we were really enjoying it. On this card here, I just have a list of the different things that happened during the week. Here I have a flip up. This is of me this picture is of me braiding my daughter's hair, and this is what she looked like the next day. I love that picture of her. I just used washi tape to tape the two cards together. Here are those puffy stickers from the kit. Now on to week 8. Week 8 was our February break, and I took a lot of photographs, as you can imagine, but instead of adding an insert or creating more flip-ups, what I did was I printed some photographs and put them in this glassine bag. I'll take those out. I used this card as sort of like an introduction of the pictures that are inside of the bag. Just letter stickers, a stamp, and some handwriting. Let me get my hand. And so when you flip over the card, you'll see the picture. I created this collage using the Becky Higgins Project Life app. Now, I am not a digital scrapper at all, but I realized that there is a 4x6 feature in the app. And so I created this collage, added in these filler cards, took a pen and did some journaling, and was able to print it out from my phone onto my printer, and it was such an easy process that this is the way I'm going to create collages in the future, because it was so easy. I don't have any other kits than the kits that came with the app, but I just may buy a few because I really like how easy this feature was. And this is how I created the rest of the collages as well. So here's 2 3x4 pictures on one 4x6, and this is the back side, which is a journal, a list of all the different things that occurred in the month. I thought that was a good way to summarize the month. And here's another collage where I have 2 2x2 photos and then 1 4x4 photograph. And then on the back side, I used a 3x4 card to journal that story. So I thought that was a different way of adding in more stories without inserts and flip-ups and things like that. Up here I have a picture of myself enjoying the sunshine, and I just added that puffy sticker to indicate that I was feeling 100% great. Here is another puffy sticker that says "Say What," and it's a picture of my son having a fit because I asked him to do some chores. Here is another puffy sticker. So what you'll see is the eyes drawn that way. Now I added these gold foiled labels, which are from a very old Studio Calico kit. I have no idea which kit it came from, but I had them in my stash and I have been saving them for that really special layout, and decided, you know what, just use it because you'll get more things in your kits and you'll be able to use it. There'll always be more product to use. And so I used them because they complemented this gold foil heart that's included in this tag. So for my title card, I just used stickers and stamps. Here I used a Studio Calico stamp set here and here, just to kind of document what's happening in those photographs, which is my kids at the library, and here they are making cupcakes. This picture here is of a three-dimensional tooth fairy that was at the oral surgeon's office. My son had his wisdom teeth removed, and instead of taking a picture of him or anything in the office, I decided to just take a picture of this tooth fairy and just use the label to document the story. This is of my kids and neighbors playing outside. Like I said, the weather was absolutely amazing that week, and there was a lot of outdoor play. So there you go. That concludes my monthly share for February. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them down below, and I will answer your questions. And until next month, I'll see you. Bye-bye.